Here are some things that happened during the time we were brought to the middle of nowhere to build a bridge for 5 days. 1. The meals were superb. 2. It was very boot camp-like. It wasn't unusual to wake up at like 5 a.m. to start our day. Because you know what they say, the early bird gets the most worms. We worked in the sun, rain, and hail, which ended up being fun. And 4. There was tons of bullying. Like this group, which made 2 guys who so happened to be non-white cut extra pieces of wood they were not even going to use. And some of my group members excluded the Asian guys because of the language barrier. Also, they did not think it was worth the effort to learn their names, so they referred to them as any ridiculous nicknames they could come up with on the spot. And let us stick a pin here. How can you manage to pronounce words like Worcestershire, Kernel, quinoa? How do you manage to pronounce those words with ease, but certain people get reduced to the internationals or safety boots? Really? Names are important. They hold identity and meaning. Not even trying to know them or purposefully mispronouncing them is nothing short of disrespectful. Another thing happened too. The leader of my group wanted me to clean up the nails on the ground. So to assert his dominance, or his version of it at least, he screamed at me, "You need to do your job." To add context to the situation, I was the health and safety manager. So in actuality, that was not my job. So fast forward to later that night, during our meeting before the big meeting, the leader asked me if I knew what I was going to present to the teachers and PhD students who were our play pretend clients. I knew exactly what I was going to say. I was going to show him something him never see before. When it was my time to talk, I said, "We need to take a page out of the leader's book. He is so efficient and cares a lot about the cleanliness of our site." He was beaming with pride. Then I continued, "But leaders should also convey their ideas in a respectful way." He was confused at first, then immediately knew exactly where I was going with this. Today, he screamed at me to clean up and do my job. Highly inappropriate. And I want to make something abundantly clear. My job is not to clean up after anyone. My job is to call out the safety hazards during site inspections. We all have the same aim here, which is to move things along. However, respect is very important. Everyone deserves respect regardless of their race, gender, and position in society. I was met with silence. Did I take it too far? Not long after, every single person in the room gave a round of applause. Everybody minus one. That was expected. There will always be that one person who will share different sentiments. He walked up and privately reprimanded me. "That was so unnecessary. Whenever you have issues like this, you should try to resolve them internally before throwing your team member under the bus and making them look bad." Imagine me never make things look bad. Coming like idiot mark on my forehead. So what? Me fi sit down and take tough chat, then suffer in silence. No sanky no sing so. I wonder if he also reprimanded the PhD student who publicly called out the site worker who was being sexist. It should be noted that the sexist site worker was never to be seen again after that. The guy who reprimanded me should have said what he was really thinking. People like you should be seen and not heard. And perhaps he thought I was afraid of the angry black girl stereotype. Well, I have news for you, sir. I embrace it. I welcome it with open arms. I'm not in the business of catering to any big man's baby feelings. The leader started the mess, so I finished it. Simple. I cannot and will not assuage your feelings because you have a problem with me defending myself after being disrespected. In later stories, you will see this thematic issue playing out time and time again during my experience as an international student. And I'm sure that other international students will be able to relate. They have a way of doing that, playing victim in a problem they created. Was that an example of a power struggle? Well, they had to struggle with their power somewhere else. But in the same breath, I have to big up the leader for standing up to that one site manager who was getting very handsy. He had the courage to do what everyone was afraid and uncomfortable to do. But those moments aside, I had loads of fun. Before bedtime, my roommate and I would make each other tea and share the drama happening in our groups. The bridge exercise was a nice way of making new friends. How could I forget the nights we left our dorms to get free hot chocolate at the other dorm that had the consent posters plastered everywhere? I wonder what happened there. Or that night we went to the gym, or the meals. Let's take a moment to appreciate the people in the kitchen. You guys threw down every single day. Never missed. Not once. Big up on yourself. In the end, our bridge didn't function the way we intended, but I learned a lot about construction techniques, site safety, material handling, planning and scheduling, and understanding real-world constraints. And this should be a given, but speak up. Somebody has to do it. If you don't, people will not learn, and they'll probably learn the hard way in the long run. Anything is possible if you put your mind to it, because once there's a will, there is a way. Having a chilled roommate is a blessing. It was a nice getaway from my flatmates, who upon my return pressed to know where I had gone for those 5 days. I told them I went to prison. Next week, we'll be talking about careers fairs.